Welcome to RAC Arena in Perth. And it's a big game over here in the West. The West Coast Fever sitting second on the ladder, playing the 5th place New South Wales Swifts.
And so the Fever lining up, no surprises with Fowler leading the way. Glasgow, nice to see Teague Neal back in that wing attack position. Simmons, Ansis, Ariane and Bruce, who is their captain, in an absolute incredible form.
Well, there's some changes, interesting changes too in the Swifts lineup. Helen Housby starting back at goal shooter, smart move. Put the experience on the experience. She'll be up against Courtney Bruce. Singleton gets the start, the two leaders in the middle. And then this defence end doesn't get much of a run, but again, some smart stuff coming from head coach Bryony Akel. She wants the long arms out in that midcourt of Maddie Turner to get up over the pass of Alice Teague-Neal. That means Tegan O'Shannessy will start in goalkeeper. I'll tell you what, they're starting to soar, the New South Wales Swifts. Verity Simmons to get us underway. Teague-Neal missed a couple of games due to COVID, so great to have her back in the line. They missed her dearly last week. Glasgow's first shot of the game and a miss. But good to see her go to the post. So West Coast Fever, first one's on the board. Proud. Housby. Oh, beautiful roll to the back, finds Singleton.
And I love that she's got this start in this game. She performed really well in the first quarter of last week's game.
Well, there's a loose ball to be had. Who wants it? 3 players chasing it. The Swifts end up with it. Clout, Proud, Housby. That is going to be such a good battle, isn't it? Helen Housby on Courtney Bruce. Those two can fire up better than any other people in the game.
And isn't it great to watch? And that's what we expect. She's got the international experience. So not only has she matched up on Bruce plenty of times in the SSN court, but she also has an international. So watch that match up, because I think it's going to be an exciting one over this 60 minutes.
It does, however, take Helen Housby out of her more favoured position at goal attack, but it's smart to really try and take Courtney Bruce out of the contest, isn't it?
It is this early in the match. We know that she's really dominant in that first phase receive off the centre pass, so that means the likes of Maddie Proud really needs to step up there, but something that I don't think she's really capable of doing.
Well, umpire's onto it. That contact a long way off the ball. So vision is up, and there's a lot to keep an eye on here. Fowler, where she quite often finds herself smack bang under the post. 2 from 2. Singleton, Proud, too easy. New South Wales Swifts. Bryony Akel will love that. Simmons, Teague-Neal, Glasgow. Vision, always straight to the circle, not enough on it. That's a big win early for Clout. Well, again, Courtney Bruce.
Yes, out having a hunt, but she leaves Housby at home. Really smart play from the Swifts to make sure that she's out and they've got the option back at the post.
What do you make of that? Is that too early to be hunting? Surely your job at the start of the game is to keep your own opponent covered.
I don't think she's giving enough credit to Housby. Really key intercept by Cloud there, and get it early off Fowler is going to put doubt into the Fever feeders.
Well, that one probably just needed to be shot. Got to pay credit to the opponents that they're up against, the New South Wales Swifts here. Anstis, Glasgow. Back to Anstis. Long to Simmons. And again, this time O'Shannessy out on the hunt. Well, interesting school of thought coming from both of the keepers. Normally something you see a bit later in the game when they start to find their feel, Sam.
It is, but I think I really like their contesting early. They're taking risks and not playing it safe. We'll just have to see who adjusts, who gets their hands on ball, and who gets looked a little bit silly back at the post.
Nothing better than the goalkeeper looking silly.
Or looking amazing at the same time.
Well, the Fever get it back to 1. Hadley, Proud. Housby out. Well, again, just a little miscommunication between the two. Understandable. Haven't had a whole heap of court time. and up against two of the Aussie Diamonds defenders. It's not an easy job.
No, and I think this early in the game, you see Kelly not ready for that positioning and that ball placement. So when you've got a new combination, you can't take those risks. You've got to play it safe early.
Only Sasha Glasgow's second attempt at it, and it drops. So first one on the board for her, and it's 5-all here. Not forgetting Heritage Round, so plenty of alumni in the crowd watching this battle. You know Fowler's not going to shoot from there. Proud up the middle, Housby. Proud again, and again, that beautiful touch just recognises the defender's eyes are down, shoots it over.
And a really nice drive from Kelly Singleton to take her defender one way and then open up the space in the back. I like the fact that O'Shannessy is reading the play and coming out early. It does put doubt in those feeders, and she has to just keep challenging herself because I reckon she was almost there on that one.
I tell you, it's a confident game to play when you've got a Janelle Fowler that is your direct opponent.
Look, and you know that she has the ability to score so many balls, as we see another defender come out and have a fly. So that ball's going to go over your head, so why not have a crack early?
Well, again, umpires well and truly got an eye on everything here. RAC Arena, Teague Neal, Glasgow. Well, that one makes it through. Sasha Glasgow has been phenomenal on the feed into Janelle Fowler. She actually sits #1 in the league for goal assists, and she's not a mid-quarter. So here's the Harvey Norman replay. You can see the two defenders back on Fowler, still manages to pull it in.
Really smart from Housby this early in the game. She's had the ability to really take Bruce out or take Bruce come out of the circle, and her be in. So really nice change of play and making it really hard for Bruce, considering how much we've spoken her up in her form so far this year.
Well, yeah, there's a lot to speak up, isn't there? She's currently first in deflections, first in defensive rebounds, first in penalties too, mind you, second in intercepts and gains. So she's having an absolute cracker of a season. Keeping her out of the contest, definitely a way the Swifts can win this game. Fever now up by 2. Didn't that happen all so quickly? Ariane to Glasgow. Well, Sarah Clow will be penalised a long way from the circle here, so a 2-on-1 inside. What are they going to do? Oh, nothing productive. Unlucky O'Shannessy.
I felt that was hers. That's the balls that she's coming out and reading quite nicely, and unlucky not to get that possession gain.
Well, it was a terrible attempt at a screen.
When you've got 2-on-1, a defender should never get the ball. We see that ball. Really unlucky. I would have given that to her.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that either. Housby. Oh, sorry, Hadley. Well, there's one of those penalties. Helen Housby, solid start to the game, just the one miss. Lots of tips coming through the Swifts. Haven't necessarily taken clean intercepts, but disrupting play.
And that's a pressure that you want to force early in this game, especially a team like Fever who can score a lot of goals. You need to chip away and build that pressure early on.
Well, they need to score here, the New South Wales Swifts, and keep themselves in this game, struggling to find anyone on that centre pass.
With the wing defence, with the wing defence.
Proud. Housby. Well, it was lucky. The pass tipped by Courtney Bruce, and now they come up with it. Some brilliant defensive stuff coming, and a quick play of the ball from Teague Neal. Wants to get on with the job, and that's where the Fever can be so incredibly dangerous.
Their ability to transition, exactly, their ability to transition down the court so quickly, like you said, makes them so damaging, and you have no chance to defend them.
13-8. snap of your fingers.
Free pass.
And we see the Nissan net points the leaders, no surprise in Fowler. I really like the work that Teague Neal has done early on. I think she'll be key for them in this match.
Yeah, they certainly missed her last week, didn't they? So versatile, but I think they've really found a spot for her and a home for her at wing attack this season.
And we see a quick change in the back, bringing Sophie Fawns on and Singleton off. I don't mind that change. I feel like the centre pass is where Swifts were really struggling and had 2 over the line. So let's see if Sophie can be a little bit more dominant.
Well, and let's see where she is, what position. So she's out at goal attack. They've chosen to keep Housby back at goal shooter. We've quite often seen those two the other way round when Fawns has entered the contest.
And we might see a HCF timeout at some stage for them to swap back over, but at the moment, Housby's doing a really great job on Bruce.
Sophie Fawns does not look at all intimidated by what she's just stepped into. 2 of the Aussie defenders in Ariane and Bruce. Too much on that. Verity Simmons. The all-important possession here for the New South Wales Swifts. They want to narrow this gap as we're now in Power 5 time. Super shots in play from that white arc, and again, Fawns just taking a drive right on top of Courtney Bruce. That was a pass, not an air ball, wasn't it?
Yeah, you can back her in. Exactly, I think she's come on and been really dominant in her movements, and that's exactly what they need.
Well, there it is, your first HCF timeout, going the way of the West Coast Fever. And we've seen this a bit throughout the season. Teams that are in front still calling the timeout. Dan Ryan may be sensing a momentum shift, or it might have just been a pre-planned one. Anyway, let's have a listen.
1-pointers. So really aggressive into our 2-point range. Hustle hard on the outside, arms over everything. Hard on the outside, arms over everything. All right, no second shots. Mix up our timing, but it's only in the 1-point range. All right, only in the 1-point range. In this front line, guys, attack ends, come in. Must look down direct first. Too much sideways glancing where we're missing that quick, deep connection. All right, so sight the circle, scoreboard pressure here. All right, so Jay nice and strong, turn efficiently, really aggressive, see our post. Yep.
You can go, if you're going to stay wide, I can come in and come back out. That big one, I should have feet and look in.
No feet from centre third. Work yourself in. If she's on one-on-one, it can go, but you've got to have discipline to do the work to get in there. You're too wide and too far at the minute. Get on the ball. All right? Okay, everyone in. Let's go. Come on in. 60-second charge out of this break. All right, we've got him under pressure. Tighten the screws. Go for ball. Circle edge. Let's go.
Ready, go, ready, go.
Well, keep an eye on that, everyone. A 60-second charge is the call from head coach Dan Ryan. What is it the West Coast Fever are going to do in that minute? But you heard him very clearly say only 1-point shots. They're going to defend that white strip in the circle and protect any pressure coming back at them in the way of super shots.
And really smart coaching by Dan, identifying the fact that Swifts do like to shoot and are capable of shooting the 2-point super shot, as we see Housby nail another.
Exactly what he didn't want to happen, but he did up the other end ask for direct vision to the post. Scoreboard pressure. Shannessey's going to come up with one of those surely any minute now.
I love her confidence as we see another super shot. Glasgow is not fazed by Helen Housby down the end one bit.
Glasgow being so good at the super shots this season.
And that's why they are so dangerous, because if Fowler's not going to shoot the shot for you, she'll damage as well, which I think in previous years Fever have been missing.
Teague Neal, no one coming, but remember Dan Ryan saying look down court, Fowler. Another one on the board, 13 from 13 for Janelle Fowler, yet to miss. Well, again, Sarah Clow penalised outside the circle, unaware of it at the moment.
No, I've held time. Players, I've held time.
Well, it's obvious notoriously very noisy in RAC Arena. So this is really going to start to put that scoreboard pressure on as head coach Dan Ryan asked of his team. Now 5 the difference. Just under 3 minutes to play in this first quarter. Turner, Proud. Clow ran out of room, charged down. He's invested, isn't he, Dan Ryan, up on his feet, screaming.
We see the Harvey Norman replay. Alex, look at her. She thought she had that, but I love the fact that she's building that pressure and really having a crack at the intercept.
Well, again, exactly where they weren't allowed to be. And Helen Housby, well, she's making a point of it now. Another Suncorp super shot, and the Confident Girls Foundation will be rapt about that because Suncorp is donating $100 for each that falls. Can Glasgow add to it? Not that time.
Goal defence is here. Goal defence are out of play here.
And this is the beauty of the super shot. It's changing a mindset as a defender. You don't want to be where you think you want to go. They should be standing in that 2-point zone so that attacker doesn't land in there and has that ability to take that range shot.
Beautiful movement there from Proud just to free herself.
So once again, you see the defenders just standing this side by side of Housby, and she can take that ball in the super shot range and choose if she wants to absolutely sink another super shot.
Helen Housby come to play 100% if we see the knock there in the Harvey Norman replay. Well, that's the other thing you definitely don't want to do in there is contact and give them a free shot.
No, you just release the pressure.
3 the difference, just over a minute to play in this opening quarter. Heritage round here in the West. Jess Anstis up strong, and the crumbs picked up by Courtney Bruce, who does not mess around with it. 2 passes, well, just too quick. Rush of blood.
I think the ability to make sure that you still have that short option when they're losing the ball is they've gone a long ball, which is a really good fast outlet, but they need to shorten it up. Like Dan Ryan said, get on circle edge, have a look in, then feed it, rather than going long, as we see Maddie Turner throw a long ball and it runs out the sideline for Fawns.
Courtney Bruce came charging, and I think spooked Sophie Fawns a little on the take then.
You'd be spooked too if Bruce ran at you, wouldn't you?
These days, yes.
Back in the day, maybe.
Glasgow. Teague-Neal. Vision is long. Fowler really just getting herself a bit twisted on the last couple of takes. She can normally pull in anything, regardless of it being a good or a bad pass. Helen Housby. She's 4 from 4. Suncorp super shots. Has got the radar on and has got the Swifts back to 1. As we hear the hooter for the end of the first quarter. So West Coast Fever, they've got the smallest of leads after they had quite a big one. More action coming up right after this. You're watching Fox Netball.
Penalties. I actually think we've got players coming out having the fly, so you're doing a really good job. Great job, you two, using that space in the circle, like coming off, edging. It's really good. You look like you're on your player, then you come in and have a fly. So that's awesome. Great job. Good option. Great being an option on centre pass. Oh, maybe drive wide and cut in. Yeah, but at least you're there with you because they're doing a good job shutting down our option. So just sort of
Happy Easter to everyone that's joining us for this game as well. The New South Wales Swifts found themselves in a bit of a hole early in that quarter, but Helen Housby, 4 from 4 Suncorp super shots, has got them back in the contest, just trailing by 1. Sam Pullman, who impressed you in that opening quarter?
Do I pick just one? Really impressed by their defence, and I think Tegan O'Shannessy has a big job ahead of her this afternoon and has come on with a lot of confidence. And yes, she hasn't got too much hand on ball yet, but I'm really excited and loving what I'm seeing from her so far.
Proud had no one to go to. 2 fever hands in there. Verity Simmons, Courtney Bruce, and just like that, again, no transition defence from the New South Wales Swifts. And beautiful choice of pass too. It had to be quick to get there to Fowler. Teague Neal leading the Nissan net points at the moment, and that's why 7 goal assists to her name. Proud to Fawns. Great placement up this end as well. Well, goal for goal to start the second quarter. And the positional change that we talked about in the shooting end for the New South Wales Swifts. Fowler.
And that'd be really key for the Swifts going into that centre pass. I felt like they really struggled to get 1 or 2 options over the line and relied on the likes of their goal defence and wing defence to come down. So watch Helen Housby and the Maddie Proud connection now. I think it'll be vital in the centre pass for the Swifts.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because you want to put your players where they feel most comfortable, but you also have got to try and match up well. So you know what Helen Housby's going to give you in attack and defence. Good challenge from the co-captain Proud.
And that's the challenge. You can't have her in 2 positions. So really smart coaching for Bryony to start the first quarter with her back and now bring hopefully Sophie more into the game with that confidence that we've seen from her the last couple of rounds.
Sophie will know she's alive coming up against Courtney Bruce. That is for sure. Jess Anstis, Simmons, Glasgow. Oh, again, there it is, forcing the ball in, and O'Shannessy.
What a win for Tegan O'Shannessy. We've seen her take risks early on and really create pressure, and it's great to see the game come her way.
That is a big win this early in the game, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That's something people wait 59 minutes of the game for.
And I'm happy to say I've been one of those goalkeepers that have only got your win in the last 58 minutes of a game, which is so exhausting.
You're not the only one on someone like a Janelle Fowler, so to get them this early is huge.
And so much confidence from that defence end of what their game plan is working, and we've just got to watch now and see if Fever can adjust.
Well, really quick play from Simmons again down to Fowler. 2-goal buffer to the West Coast Fever. Courtney Bruce flying out. That is her bread and butter, and that'll be a little lesson learnt from Sophie Fawns. I've got to say, early in this game, I know, but no sign of tired bodies. Maybe just some brain fades. There's been a couple of passes into Janelle Fowler, haven't quite been there. Fowler just not being able to get her feet underneath the body and get to a lot of those balls in that first quarter. Proud. Fawns. Bruce very casual on the rebound, almost didn't get it. Simmons, Anstis. Simmons, long down to Glasgow. Simmons again though, that's how important she is in that attack line.
She is, and interesting enough, in the backbench of the Fever, you can see Emma Kosh warming up and Dan on a happy face. So he's identified that that attack end is not working like it can.
Glasgow just her 3rd shot. Yeah, as soon as that sprayed ball came from Teague Neal before, he looked straight down the bench and called for Emma Kosh to warm up. So he's not going to stuff around here. He's going to make the changes straight away if he thinks he needs to. Glasgow, Teague Neal, an opportunity to right that wrong. West Coast Fever out by 4. Some swift ball movement coming from Red. Proud. And again, beautiful rotation in the circle to break the defence up.
And that's what excites us about the Swifts, is their ability to really move and get the defenders' heads moving by the quick ball. So it's nice to see that they've finally used that to their advantage.
Anstis. Simmons. Long to Fowler, better placement.
And that's the connection that we know works so well for the Fever.
The Swifts, it's been a hard road for them. Obviously, all the teams playing 3 games in a week, but the Swifts have been on the road to Adelaide and now to Perth. Ariang just having a crack at that ball, but they don't look tired. They look like they're really pumped for this game. Courtney Bruce, another penalty to her list. Sophie Fawns, 5 from 7 now. There she is, just didn't look like a whole heap in it. Certainly umpires wanting to keep control of this game. Fowler, the step in. It doesn't matter when you're the best offensive rebounder in the game. Janelle Fowler sitting number 1 in that stat. Proud. Housby again, absolutely, yeah, the movement's killing them, isn't it? Have got no opportunity to work together, and what's more, are having to make a choice. Glasgow. Fowler. But still the 4-goal buffer here, winning this quarter 8-5, the West Coast Fever. Long to Fawns, good vision outside the circle. Courtney Bruce loves picking up that little one to the feeder outside the circle. Another lesson learnt for Sophie Fawns. I'll tell you what, this in itself is such a big learning opportunity for her, isn't it?
It is, and that's what happens when you're up against the Diamonds goalkeeper inexperience. Is those are the moments that she'll capitalise on, and yes, you might think that's an option as we see the change coming with Fawns going back off and Singleton getting another go. As Tegan gets another intercept and beautiful backup by Turner.
Well, O'Shaughnessy having the game of her life at the moment on arguably the best goal shooter in the world, Janelle Fowler.
She's doing such a great job, and the most important thing is the pressure that's created in front of her. We said about the pressure that was needed, and that's happening, which is allowing her to get hand on ball.
Only sitting on 3.5 missing net points as we see the time and possession there in favour of the West Coast Fever. Well, when you look at how quickly they move the ball, hard to understand. Nice little double-double between Simmons and Glasgow.
I'd like to see Glasgow come in and demand the ball herself. We've only seen her shoot 4 goals in this match so far, and I think that's when she's so dominant, especially when Fowler's not quite herself today.
Anster, Simmons, Teague Neal. And again, just an easy 1-2. Get to circle edge, nice and patient for the West Coast Fever. Oh, the changes
all over the court. We see Tay Fraser come on for Paige Hadley and Emma Koch come on in the wing attack position for Alice Teague Neal. So you can see both coaches are trying to find something and not allowing any time in this match to make those decisions.
Well, 1 minute away from Power 5. And that lady there is probably going to want more of the ball in her hand. Has not missed a Suncorp super shot. 4 from 4 this game. And she was responsible. Well, there's your last 10. Pretty even, just the 3 in a row there for the West Coast Fever. They'll add another one to the list now. But it was Helen Housby in that Power 5 that got them back into the game at the end of that first quarter. She was going to probably have to do something very similar if they let this gap get out any bigger. The difference. Glasgow. Anstis. Posh. Back to Ariane. Good defence here from the New South Wales Swifts. Haven't been able to penetrate this goal third. Nice and patient, they do now. There it is, the siren for the start of the Power 5. And Glasgow can't make the first one sink. She held onto the ball, just waited for that siren to go, didn't she? Fraser, Proud, Housby. Proud, Housby again. Well, Housby definitely wanting it in that white arc. Singleton does not. Why would she not? She's been on fire. Helen Housby, and she continues to be. Another Suncorp super shot, 5 to her name.
And from the top of the range of that circle, defenders, you have to adjust. This is where Swifts are going to do all the damage for you.
Well, that's 10 points Helen Housby has racked up in Suncorp super shots alone. Glasgow, she's good from that distance as well. That's her second. Well, as I mentioned before, the Confident Girls Foundation will be rubbing their hands together. $100 from Suncorp for every super shot sunk today. Well, Stacey Francis, Bayman, Helen Housby is absolutely putting on a masterclass here. Well, she could shoot this game out and win it single-handedly, the form that she's in at the moment. The change is continuing to happen. Housby, over the top to Fraser, Courtney Bruce again. You cannot throw a long cross-court ball in a defence end that's got Courtney Bruce anywhere near it.
That's her bread and butter.
Another
That's what
lesson.
she loves. And we gave credit to the Swifts in the first quarter. They were doing a really good job in isolating and not giving her what she likes.
Now they're just serving it on a silver platter.
Absolutely, making her look good and giving her some stats.
Because she needs stats, Courtney Bruce. She's
She just wants to move further up the ladder.
Glasgow, Kosh. Oh, sorry, Simmons. Well, Glasgow again, anything Helen Housby can do, she can do too. It's a shoot-a-thon. Harvey Norman replay, Courtney Bruce.
Incredible timing.
I'll tell you what, this game is exciting me if we're going to see a long-distance shootout like we have so far for the next half as well. Helen Housby, she tells she's feeling it. She's going wholly and solely to that white space inside the goal circle. And that is why they're not even touching the ring. Helen Housby, 6 from 6 Suncorp super shots. And surprisingly, she's not found herself in the Nissan net points match leaders just yet. Just the one splash of red, and it's the co-captain, Maddie Proud. An offensive contact against Janelle Fowler. Turner. Proud. Fraser. Clout. Proud. Housby. Not looking down court, Helen Housby.
No,
didn't
but
look to the circle.
Great defensive pressure from the West Coast Fever. They're making the Swifts throw multiple balls and are really in the contest.
Kelly Singleton. Has she got the Helen Housby's about her? She does. Well, what a performance. 12 Suncorp super shots have already dropped, and it's not even half-time yet.
Incredible intercept there from Stacey Francis-Bayman, really crucial for them. But the Fever defenders need to adjust. I'm not sure how many times the Swifts have to land inside that super shot before they're going to adjust. This is the beauty of the super shot, is if you can change a game and you can bring back a scoreline. We see Singleton getting in the mix and creating the turnover.
3 seconds to go here. Janelle Fowler, can she nail it? She does! Oh, the West Coast Fever, 40-36. A 4-goal buffer at the hand of Janelle Fowler. 13 Suncorp super shots have fallen in the opening half. Well, what a game. And as we mentioned, Sam Pullman, it does not look like there is one single tired body out there that's now playing their 3rd game of netball in a week. It's been an impressive start. Can they keep it up? Welcome back to Fox Netball, and what's been a very interesting opening half of this game between the West Coast Fever and the New South Wales Swifts. The West Coast Fever 4 points in front at the moment. Tell you what, there is something in the water over here in the Wild West. Suncorp super shots falling left, right and centre. Sam Pullman in that opening half. And you were talking about now what it is the defenders need to do to stop that. That lady on screen, Helen Housby, 7 from 7. The Swifts' total score, half of them, 18 points, have come from Suncorp super shots already this game.
Incredible from Helen Housby, and that's the excitement that the super shot does provide. Yes, defenders need to be smart and change the way that they defend in that last 5 minutes, because as we can see, a game can be turned by one single player.
Yeah, twice in the first quarter and in the second quarter, it looked like the New South Wales Swifts were starting to get away, and then enter Helen Housby and Kelly Singleton. Well, let's get down now to the head coach of the New South Wales Swifts, Bryony Akel. Bryony, what a first half just 4 in it, so well and truly still in the contest. Are you happy with what you've seen from that opening half?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's always going to be tough coming from Adelaide to here, so I'm really proud of them. We can just stick it and grind it out and just stay with them to that last bit. Let's hope we get the win.
Brad, tell us what you've loved about your defensive unit so far in this match.
Oh, I you know, that height out the front, I think definitely tempts Fever to throw a different style of pass, and yeah, I think our defenders are being rewarded for their effort.
I think so too, and I'm absolutely loving it. But what about how do we get this ball back in your possession? We've seen Fever gets 9 games to your 1.
Yeah, I think we've got to do some harder work out the front, hopefully. Get some tips before it hits that circle edge.
Well, Bryony, we'll leave you to it. No doubt one of your instructions was to Helen Housby at halftime, keep shooting them up, because she's certainly got the radar on. All the best for the second half.
Thanks, guys.
Well, she's happy, and why would she not be? Because as a reminder, we said at the top of the show, these teams have had 3 games in a week, and the Swifts have played in Sydney, in Adelaide, and then had to get themselves over to Perth. So they've had to endure probably the most travel, and no ill effects of that at the moment, apart from maybe that little bit of confusion. Well, Helen Housby was in the wide arc of the super shot territory, but it's not time yet, so she's not going to waste it. Big rebound, West Coast Fever, Bruce. Oh, good tip from Helen Housby, and the New South Wales Swifts come up a little bit messy at the start of this opening half.
Yeah, they haven't really started the way they finished. I like the fact that Helen Housby got possession back for her team after missing that. We talk about the long range, but that simple shot at mid-range.
Still 3 the difference here. Gosh. Well, again, how many times have we seen just either Janelle Fowler not pulling it in, the pass not quite right? That is something that you don't often see as an issue in this West Coast Fever front line. No, that's normally what their strength is, and I think that's what Dan Ryan was saying in the breaks in terms of get that ball on circle edge, steady up and give that feed. When they feed it balanced, they are unstoppable. There he is. The brains trust. Beautiful ball again. Ariang completely blind to where the ball was, has had her head turned focused wholly and solely on the player.
And that'll be the strength for the New South Wales attack end now with this more movement and dynamic. They want to exploit the defenders just like that. A perfect hold from Singleton and feed the ball when your defenders' eyes are down.
Yeah, smart couple of plays there from the New South Wales Swifts, just using the ball placement to get them where they want to be. Unlike what's happening up the other end, uncharacteristic stuff coming from the West Coast Fever.
And Simmons puts her hand up there and goes, yes, that was my error, but this continually happens. They need to steady up, feed that ball into Fowler.
After effects of a loss and then having to travel back to Perth?
They have travelled a lot as well, Fever. I think we need to acknowledge that they've been on the road since their first home game in round 1. But the crowd is so powerful for them being at home. And we've spoken about the team that uses their mindset rather than concerned about how fatigued they are is the team that's going to get over the line today.
Tosh, Glasgow. Little pass off over the top to Fowler. Gets them back to a 2-goal buffer here, the West Coast Fever. And great crowd. There's the Harvey Norman replay, the little dish off. Looked as if she was going to shoot at Sasha Glasgow.
And again, Singleton, the use of her body to hold space.
Got to shoot that.
And again, that's Courtney Bruce's experience, the ability to defend the shot but know that there's a pass off. Singleton, she has the ability. We see a good hands over and then a great pull in from Bruce.
Telegraph too, just has to be shot. Verity Simmons having a brilliant game. 35.5 net points for her. Fowler, 34 from 35 after that one. Simmons, long ball, Fowler. Again, not a whole heap on it, is it? It's not getting into the backspace, getting it closer to the post. Well, tough one there. Nonetheless, the New South Wales Swifts come up with it.
How good is she? And that's what she's so good at, and doesn't the crowd love it?
Well, look at the intercepts. That's the question that you put to head coach Bryony Ackles. 7 intercepts to 1. That is huge, and a lot of those just poor placement and not really thinking about what's happening.
Absolutely, and 5 of those intercepts belong to Bruce herself. As we see on the Harvey Norman replay, what I love is her ability to run through the ball, but the strength, she wasn't allowing crowd to take that intercept off her.
2-on-1 in the circle it was, and Helen Housby, ball in hand. 13 from 16 in regular time. 7 from 7. Suncorp super shots. Kelly Singleton, great support, and hasn't missed on the Suncorp super shots either. Simmons, Glasgow. Again, the dish off that looks like it's going to be a shot. Deceptive over the top to Fowler. There's the shooting stats for the West Coast Fever. Glasgow like to get those up a little bit higher, and we've seen her do that. Back to Clow. Singleton. Again, just the choice of pass. Lucky to keep that, the New South Wales Swifts. We saw them do this last week against the Adelaide Thunderbirds. They were behind in every single stat, yet got themselves up by 1. And it was just that sort of stuff, just silly placement. Good thing for them is they're starting to win some ball back though, Sam.
They are, and that's what they spoke about in the last game. That was such a low-scoring game. We see the change in this game with scoring Fever and Swifts scoring high volumes in each quarter. But yeah, the little mistakes is what they need to really adjust, because when they have the ball, they're doing a really good job.
Housby, pass off Singleton. Another one for Kelly Singleton. And see Tay Fraser warming up in the background there. That's a bit of ball movement coming from the New South Wales Swifts. Proud on the edge of the circle. Brilliant timing, Kelly Singleton.
And as we see Fraser come onto the court between Proud and Housby, that's the really strong connection that we've seen in these first 5 rounds.
There's that change we spoke about. Fraser, nowhere to go, back to Cloud. Well, again, a long way back that time. Great defensive pressure from the West Coast Fever.
This is where the tired bodies will start coming into play. When you still need to do the work, you can't rely on a risky pass to get there. You actually have to do the work and be an option.
Well, it's certainly been a lot scrappier in this second half. Courtney Bruce again. She'd think she had a foot out of court, though. She did, but gosh, she's seeing them like watermelons, isn't she? Housby, Proud.
Contact centre advantage, offside, stand still. Whole time back around here where you were wing attack. Both of you, there. Barney's moving centre.
Yeah, those passes, anything inside the circle has to be shot from now. They're just wasting too much ball, the New South Wales Swifts. Simmons.
And why wouldn't you shoot it? They haven't been off. They've been on fire today.
Yes,
Janelle Fowler has also been on fire. 36 from 37. 1 from 1 super shot. She drained at the end of that first half. West Coast Fever out by 3 and a minute away from the Power 5. Ariane, Anstis, Simmons. Again, straight in, but they still look flat to me. Janelle Fowler's almost taking them out in front of her instead of above her own head.
And normally they go to the sky off Simmons and really fall down, place nicely into Fowler's hands, not allowing the defenders to come into it at all.
Proud, Fraser. Singleton. Yeah, that was better work, Kelly Singleton, but again, the touch on the end. She did everything right in the lead-up, though, the balk to shift defenders.
And that's where you need to steady up and make sure that pass gets there, but I like that she's identified the fake and then in. We just see the ball going over the sideline, because as you said, there just wasn't enough touch on it to place Housby in court.
Fowler. Well, this will give them a 5-goal buffer. But I tell you what, if in 7 seconds Helen Housby's in the form she was in that first half, they're going to need that 5-goal buffer, as there's an HCF timeout called to the New South Wales Swifts. See if we can have a listen to the head coach, Bryony Akel.
Just go back to 1 on. Go back, don't do the overload, or split. Yeah, or Reggie. You're going to Gasher. So if you're going to goal attack the last bit, Paige, you're going to WAP. Yeah? So Maddie just made a good point about the overload. Let's not do overload. Let's go back to, let's punch through middle. Middle. Helen, did you see what Kel was doing? Yeah. Yeah? Keep that up. It's like the face were like opening up, guys. Just like, when you do that, what I've asked you to do, don't go to sidelines. Keep body upright, facing down this way, then roll out of it. Do you know what I'm talking about? So as it creeps lower, we go behind, just stay in front, and then punch out of the circle, then re-enter. Does that make sense? It's more for her. Right, bring it in. Who said it passes it? Okay, let's go back to process of us. Our attack centre pass, use the middle, block middle. Let's go.
Well, a lot spoken about in that quarter. Look at the West Coast Fever. They're on court, in position, ready to go. Well, this will be the very interesting moment of this game. The Power 5, 6 seconds away. Helen Housby is now moved back to goal shooter on Courtney Bruce. There it is, the siren.
This will be a huge 5 minutes for Fever. Will they adjust, considering the damage that Swifts have done in this super power in the last 2 quarters.
Dan Ryan up on his feet. Well, Sunday Ariang a long way from home. This is where they want to be with the ball. And again, it's just got to be turned and shot when it's inside the circle. Well, the first miss, Helen Housby. There's the Harvey Norman replay, just a little short and a monster of a rebound to the captain, Courtney Bruce. That's a better trajectory going into Janelle Fowler off the hands of Verity Simmons.
And a lot more steady on the feet.
7 in it now, and it's the West Coast Fever centre pass to follow. Well, there it is, the tip. I was about to ask who's going to deliver that turnover for the Swifts. Tay Fraser.
That's exactly what you need to do when you come on court to make an impact, and that's exactly not what you want to do, a cross-court ball to nobody over the sideline.
It's been hard work for the Swifts to get ball back, so that is an absolute coach killer when that happens. Only 2 intercepts for the Swifts. Janelle Fowler. This will be her 41st of the game. And there's the damage that's been done. The last 7 to the West Coast Fever.
They're starting to get their flow now nicely, but as you said, the ball is so hard to get against a team like this. You can't afford to be throwing it away on simple errors, not even the pressure from the Fever, just simple errors.
West Coast Fever winning this quarter 9-13 at the moment. Helen Housby, she's been dangerous from here, but the last 2 off. Has she lost the radar? Well, she's going to continue to find it, though. She wants the ball in that space again. Can she drain this one? Is it back on? No. Well, how many does she continue to put up to try and get her mojo back? Or is it just worth chipping away?
Well, that's where your game sense come in. Now that they've lost a lot of possession, you need to just steady back, do your job. As Sarah Clow, what an intercept from her.
Sam Pullman just actually clapped.
I did, because I loved it.
Well, here's the Harvey
We'll
Norman
watch it again because
replay.
it was that good.
On stretch too. Hadley. Turner. Well, it's all happening, isn't it? Paige Hadley. Who can she get the ball to? Fawns. No one around. Hadley. Helen Housby is going to continue to try and get it back, and so far she hasn't. She's missed the last 4 she's attempted. So quick as you like, those beautiful stats of 100% have blown out.
And Dan Ryan himself says we want scoreboard pressure, and this is exactly what Fever can do now with the ball.
Well, it's certainly starting to mount, isn't it? This will be 14-9 in this 3rd quarter. He's a happy coach at the moment. Always wanting more from his troops, though. 9-goal buffer, the West Coast Fever. 1 minute to go. There's the Nissan Net Points match leaders. A couple of Swifts now move themselves into that top 5. Courtney Bruce, though, a standout 97. And that is courtesy of 5 intercepts. Intercepts worth 10 points.
And her rebounds, she's leading the league in rebounds and got 3 herself in this game. So you can't afford to be shooting missing shots because she'll make you pay.
Well, speaking of missing shots, that one didn't miss. Helen Housby, another Suncorp super shot, sitting on 8 of them now. Well, a little record for Helen Housby to keep an eye on. 10 is the most individual Suncorp super shots scored in a game. She's 2 off that. Oh, little cheeky effort there from Maddie Turner outside the circle. Oh, Huge rebound, Janelle Fowler, right on the buzzer. So the West Coast Fever take control again in that third quarter. And they now have a 7-goal lead as they head into the final quarter of this game. Do not go anywhere. An action-packed final quarter coming right up.
All right, I think we could centre again. I think we're going a bit wide in attack. We're running towards the sidelines. Bring it together, use each other off the screens, yeah? And to attack. You did that beautifully. Yeah, just stay on it all the way. Beautiful.
Welcome back to RAC Arena in Perth, where the West Coast Fever, a commanding 7-goal lead, which they took in that third quarter. Sam Pullman joining me. Sam, it was a low-scoring third quarter, but the West Coast Fever just continuing to chip away and make that margin a little bigger every quarter.
That's what they're focusing on, is that scoreboard pressure. I think without so many super shots reflected in that lower scoreline, and also the possession that changed quite a bit from either team.
Well, there's Courtney Bruce, the captain of the West Coast Fever, at the moment sitting on 88.5 NISA net points. She is the match leader, having an absolute blinder. And underway here in the final quarter of this all-important game, the New South Wales Swifts have had 2 wins on the trot. The West Coast Fever wanting to get their campaign back on track after a loss to the Melbourne Vixens in round 4. Apologies.
Ali Smith taking the court in wing defence for the first time this afternoon, leaving Hadley coming back on court, and seeing what that combination between Singleton and Housby can do now in this last 15.
Bronnie Akel really still encouraging though, wasn't she, in that Origin Energy timeout?
Really positive from her, and interesting that she was really I guess constructive and giving that feedback to what is a new and young shooting attack line, and then down the other end saying to defenders, you have license, be brave, go for it.
License. Ooh, they'd be rubbing their hands together.
There's nothing better as a defender getting told that you can go out and have a fly and it's okay. But they have to. When we look at the intercepts, Fever have 8 to Swifts 3. So if they want to chip away and turn this and get back in the match, they need to get hand on ball.
Well, it's 14 gains to 5 at the moment too. So just haven't won enough ball back, have they?
And it's hard enough against a quality side like Fever and how dominant they are with Fowler down that end.
Well, Maddie Proud wanting something a little bit closer to the post. Now they swing it around. Hadley again back to Proud. Singleton.
Courtney Bruce in everything, isn't she?
Yes and no. I think that Singleton's allowing her to be in the contest just by telegraphing passes, silly choice of passes.
Interesting though, because in one of the timeouts, Singleton said, when I use fakes, they work. So that's what she needs to be doing against Bruce.
Absolutely. Yeah, Courtney Bruce will follow the ball. She will commit to the ball.
And that's what she's so great at, the ability to read the play, play a little bit of cat and mouse, and come up with the ball.
Hadley, Proud. Singleton. Back to Hadley. Clow. Well, let the ball go, pull the penalty. Kelly Singleton wanted it. Courtney Bruce right behind her. And a great take from Helen Housby under pressure from Sunday Ariang. So 7 the difference as it was. Here's the Harvey Norman replay. Beautiful ball over the top. And just a little clip. Oh, wasn't much in that one either, was there, from Sunday Ariang? Smith. Well, ran into no man's land. Wasn't going to be an option. Back to Smith. Nothing coming for the New South Wales Swifts. Green everywhere. Proud.
Advantage offside.
Housby. More double jump on the defence. But Housby still manages to sink it. 18 from 21 for Helen Housby.
Advantage right.
Hasn't been a bad day at the office in terms of accuracy by any stretch of the imagination.
As she comes up with a beautiful intercept.
Well, Helen Housby will more often than not pull you in some sort of defensive game in a game that she's out at goal attack.
Slide the goalkeeper. Yeah, it's the cycle.
Housby, Hadley. Housby again. Well, just a little off, and the rebounds falling the way of the West Coast Fever.
Stand out of play.
Courtney Bruce now 4 rebounds this game. Anstis, Simmons. Ariang. Anstis. Ariang again. Well, same sort of thing happening. No easy way to the goal third. Now they get there. Glasgow. Fowler. Oh, a rare miss for Fowler under the post. And again, the strong rebound goes her way. So 5-4 this quarter. The New South Wales Swifts staying in the challenge, but they're not going to continue to do it. If they throw ball away, well, that has been a common theme, hasn't it? And how quickly the West Coast Fever down the other end, 9-4 in the intercepts. And yes, the West Coast Fever are playing well, Sam Pullman, as we see the Harvey Norman replay, but for the most part, it's the Swifts throwing them the ball.
And isn't it hard? You want to absolutely applaud the defender for being in the position and running through and getting that game for their team. But yes, you're right. Some of the time it's like a soft pass, or they're staring at the person they want to throw to, which makes it really easy for the defender to come through and intercept the ball.
Well, this is certainly not the way to beat the West Coast Fever, is it? The New South Wales Swifts. It's not over yet, though. Still 9 minutes to go, and we've seen the form of Helen Housby on the Suncorp super shot, so they can get themselves back in this contest. Simmons. Glasgow. Fowler.
When we talk about them getting back into this game, interesting enough, Helen Housby has 2 intercepts to her name, but no other player on court for the New South Wales Swifts other than Clow and O'Shannessy have had intercepts or gains to their name.
Same as last week, they had 5 intercepts in the game. 2 were Clow, the other 3 were the attack end. So it seems to be the same issue. They need more ball back, and then they've certainly got to rein in these errors. 21 general play turnovers for both sides. It feels like the Swifts have thrown a lot more away than the West Coast Fever.
I think West Coast Fever was in the start of the match where those connections and that feed wasn't happening. I feel like they've done a really good job to connect and feed a lot better, as we see Glasgow connect with Fowler there.
Well, 8 minutes to go in this final quarter, and the West Coast Fever now out by 10. What can the Swifts do here? That's a much better build-up, and exactly where they want to find themselves. Kelly Singleton under the post. Simmons, Anstis. All right, Helen Housby again in the defence. Another deflection to her name. Glasgow, Teague Neal. O'Shannessy most certainly has been quiet in this second half, hasn't she, after a cracking first half?
We see Helen Housby get another touch on the Harvey Norman replay. She's been in everything, but she can't be the only one. Yes, O'Shaughnessy's been a little bit quiet, but it's because those players out the front, we see the general play turnovers in all leading from Fever, which was really interesting in Fowler, Tignell and Simmons.
Well, no surprises really, all in the attack line as well. They're the ones that touch the ball the most, just as we see Smith get a little touch as well. Didn't stop the West Coast Fever juggernaut though. Glasgow. Teague Neal. Simmons. The little step forward, and again, just not been her game on that feed, that connection into Janelle Fowler.
No, great intercept from O'Shaughnessy, but you're right, that was not near enough on that feed to get into Fowler.
Housby, tough shot over Courtney Bruce. Well, you saw the intimidation coming from Courtney Bruce.
And that's what she does so well. She'll play. That's why the defense of the shot is so important to the end, because you can still have that pressure to get that ball off your shooter. As we see another miss from Fowler.
Well, Courtney Bruce didn't even really have a hand up. Let's see on the Harvey Norman replay. Well, she didn't even have a hand up when she was defending,
no, but
she just, well, she shook her head in the face. So it's that intimidation too.
Absolutely.
It's an HCF timeout to the West Coast Fever. They find themselves in a demanding position, 12 in front. But Dan Ryan not happy. He wants to put the foot on the throat here. Let's have a listen and see what he's got to say.
So wing defence and centre, ferocious on your own to keep them off circle edge. Trust yourself, and Sunday, trust yourself to sit high in that circle, in that range. Okay, listening up. High in that range, 2-point period, all right? If they're gonna get in there at the last second, stay clean on the shot because it's a pressurised 2-pointer, all right? 1 point only, okay? In nice and close, come in. Our biggest weapon in attack is our scoreboard pressure. So control the tempo of the game. We get a penalty, we take our time, we set it, but we're really aggressive on all of our movements. Keep letting the ball go, but own the moment. Own the moment, all right? Let's go.
Angles in attack, don't get stuck sitting there. Let's go off for it. All it else is the game to keep us off now. We just have to score our fast and we keep grinding. Here we go. Fever on 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
I love that from Dan Ryan. Own the moment. Well, they've certainly created a moment for themselves here in this final quarter, the West Coast Fever. 12 goals the difference, but he doesn't want that to slip, always seeking perfection from his team.
And the passion and the energy coming out of Dan Ryan, identifying that this last 5 minutes in the super shot can get them back in the game. So told their defenders they need to sit in that, and how damaging that the Swifts can be in this final 5.
Yeah, 26 seconds away from that, and that lady there, Helen Housby, will take a plenty of them. She's been on fire early, but she loves the pressure moments in the game too. She wants to be the one with ball in hand. Glasgow, Fowler, Simmons, Glasgow. Little smart offload, not in power 5 time yet, so just continue to chip away here, the West Coast Fever. There goes the siren. The last 5 minutes of this game. It is second, plays 5th on the ladder. Kelly Singleton, really no choice but to shoot them, but they've got a full massive rebound, Helen Housby. And she's back on track. Well, that's one back. Helen Housby now 9 Suncorp super shots. The record in the league is 10, and that's held by 3 players, Sammy Wallace, Joe Harton and Steph Wood. Could that fall here in this final quarter?
That's obstruction, go attack.
Aria. Simmons. Long ball to Fowler. Well, they don't need to go looking for super shots here. Suncorp super shots, the West Coast Fever. Glasgow. But she's going to try and drain one anyway, and she does. Sasha Glasgow. That's now her fourth for the game. Suncorp super shots have fallen in this game.
And that's exactly what Dan Ryan said. No penalties because they get another attempt. We can see Swifts dominating the super shots, 11 to Fever 5.
Oh, and there's another one to add to the list. There it is. She equals the record. Helen Housby, 10 Suncorp super shots. Well, get her the ball. She can break it. She's on fire. Anstis. Teague Neal, Glasgow. We just see Verity Simmons take a big fall in the back of play. Shoe is off momentarily. Tough customer though, Verity Simmons.
We see on the Harvey Morton replay, huge hit. She's, as you mentioned, really tough, but Swiss defenders getting in the way and causing the contact.
Oh, this will make it 11 for Janelle Fowler, and that is her 55th goal of the game from 58. Fraser, Singleton. Yeah, hard to get the ball to Helen Housby and just forced, not smart from the New South Wales Swifts. Fowler outside the circle, Teague Neal. Glasgow wants it again. That's a long Suncorp super shot. Doesn't drop, doesn't matter. Janelle Fowler. Another rebound to her name.
No surprise that Bruce, 111 Nissan net points as the match leader. Interesting now, 4 of the Fever players are now in the top match leaders for this game.
Sasha Glasgow, yet another one for the game. They have been falling right from the start here. Helen Housby, she wants another one. She'd be oblivious to this record. Oh, and they just can't win a trick here. The record may elude her at this stage. Just 1.5 minutes to play. What won't elude them, though, is a win to the West Coast Fever. And Sasha Glasgow really wants to make it a big margin as she continues to fire those Suncorp super shots. Massive quarter so far, 19 to 11 for the West Coast Fever, and the last 4, it was goal for goal before that. Maddie Proud, well, she's doing the best she can here. Can she sink it? Can she break the record? Helen Housby, she can't make it fall. Well, she'll be in esteemed company at the very least with 10 Suncorp super shots for the game. Anstis, Teague Neal, Fowler. Another one on the board.
And aren't the Fever crowd absolutely loving this last few minutes as Courtney Bruce once again comes out, puts that doubt into the Vitas. She didn't touch the ball, but possession for her team.
Long ball, Janelle Fowler. She did it at the end of the first half. She does it again. Oh, the showtime. Well, Janelle Fowler makes it an 18-goal point difference. It's a win in the West and a season back on track for the Fever. And what a way to do it.